Did you ever meet someone whose life appeared to be perfect? Do you have a friend, a relationship, an acquaintance that you see his or her life and you say, wow, this person really has got it all? And sometimes what makes even matters worse is that that person doesn't even really practice his faith or her faith. Did you ever have that experience? I remember when I was a teenager, when I was growing up in high school, I had this friend. His life was perfect. This friend of mine, he was a really nice guy. Everybody liked him. His family had a lot of money. He had the best vacations ever. What did he do for the summer holidays? He went with his family surfing to Costa Rica or nice places, exotic places, Indonesia. He also went snowboarding to Colorado. The guy had everything. He was athletic. All the girls in class, they were drooling for him. He didn't even, he didn't really care about the faith. He wasn't against the faith. He didn't care about the faith. This same guy, this same friend of mine, we connected a couple of months ago after, I would say, about 20 years that we were done with high school. His life was even better. Listen up. You know where he lives now? He lives in Key Biscayne. That's in Miami, right? On an island. I'm not making this up. We were doing a video call. I was freezing here. He was in Key Biscayne. He's married with a beautiful woman. He has 3 beautiful kids. I asked him, what do you do for a living? He said, well, now I have to manage the patrimony of my family. So he inherited a lot of money. He basically just looks over like how his stock's doing or whatever. So I was thinking about, and again, he still doesn't practice. He's not against the faith, but he doesn't practice. So did you ever meet this sort of person where everything is perfect? And to make matter even worse, this person doesn't really care about the faith? Why am I bringing this up? Think about today's gospel. Jesus is saying, blessed are the poor, blessed are the hungry, blessed are the persecuted. How do you reconcile these things? Because if you ask me, if I weren't a priest, I would like to have the sort of life this friend has. I don't want to be poor or hungry or persecuted. So, the question that I want to solve with you today in this homily is, what does Jesus mean? Why is it that Jesus blesses the poor? And why is it that Jesus celebrates those who are hungry? And why is it that Jesus celebrates those who are persecuted and those who are suffering? In what sense are they blessed? And in what sense those who are rich and are satisfied and are laughing, in what way should we woe them? So, I want to give you 3 examples, and this will really illuminate, I think, the way in which I understand Jesus' words. The first example, from Scriptures. Do you remember chapter 8 of the Gospel of John? Is this woman who was found in adultery. You remember that passage? They found her in the act of adultery, and they take her out. And they're really ready to kill that woman. They had their stones ready. That woman was probably crying, desperate, in the midst of the worst possible anxiety. Why is that woman blessed? Why is that woman in the midst of her worst possible situation, why is she blessed? Because only when you're hungry or when you're crying, you really turn to God. Only when you are rock bottom, you really turn to God. And you turn down your idols and you turn to Him. I'll give you an example from my own life. I remember when I was a high schooler too. I was hungry for meaning in my life. I was hungry. I felt depressed. I felt that my life didn't have a true, deep meaning. Guess when I opened up to the faith? When I was hungry. Only when I was hungry for something that would really satisfy me, that is the moment that I said, I'm done with my idols. I need something that will really satisfy what I'm hungry for. Third example. I've had the chance as a priest here in the States to meet some people who have gone through the 12-step program. Some people that I met were alcoholics. Other people that I met had food addictions. Other people that I met had some sort of sexual addiction. And you know what I found in common with all the people that went through AA? They had a deeper perspective of life. They really understood who God was and who they were and how weak they were and how they couldn't do it without God. Because I understand that's one of the steps, right? One of the steps is acknowledge that you are helpless and that you can do nothing with God. Nothing without God. So, how do we make sense of blessed the poor, blessed those who cry, blessed those who are hungry? Because only those who hit rock bottom because they're crying or because they're hungry or because they're persecuted, only those who hit rock bottom are the ones who turn to the Lord. On the other hand, those who are always satisfied, they have no need to turn to God. So, now let me ask you this question. In your life, is there anything right now that's making you cry? Is there anything right now that's making you hungry? Is there anything that's making you weep? Is there anything unfair that you're suffering? Instead of cursing your suffering, today that we hear the gospel, you have to be reminded. Every time that we go through something difficult, what is it that the Lord is trying to do with us? He's trying to make us rely more on Him and to turn away all of the idols in my life. So let me finish with this. I started talking about this friend who had everything in life, whose life was perfect. But if I had to change my life for his, I would not change it. I would keep my life for one simple reason. Because in my life, I had those chances where I had to weep, where I was hungry, where I was poor, where I was unfairly treated. But all of those places that I had to go to really and truly led me to the Lord, who is the true treasure of my life. So, brothers and sisters, embrace whatever suffering you have. Embrace whatever is making you feel hungry, sad, weeping, unfairly treated. And remember that God allows us and calls us blessed in that moment, because only then we can turn away those idols and we can really put our trust in Him and not anymore in our own strength.